In 1959, a group of 9 seasoned hikers, led by Igor Dyatlov, embarked on a journey into the frigid wilderness of the Ural Mountains in the Soviet Union. They aimed to reach Odorten, a peak whose name ominously translates to "don't go there." Unfazed by folklore and warnings, they pushed forward, confident in their skills. Days into the expedition, they set up camp on a desolate slope of Kolatsiakal, Dead Mountain. Snowfall was relentless, blanketing their tents and muffling the world in silence. That night, something happened. Something that defied logic and left investigators and families haunted for decades. The search party found their campsite weeks later. It was chaos frozen in time. Their tent was shredded, ripped open from the inside as though the hikers had fled in blind terror. Tracks led downhill, barefoot, despite the freezing temperatures. The first bodies were found near a tree, stripped to their underwear, with frozen fingers clawing at the bark. It was as though they had tried to climb the tree to escape something. Others were discovered in a ravine, further from the campsite. Their injuries were inexplicable. One had a fractured skull, 2 had crushed ribs, and 1 woman was missing her tongue. There were no external wounds to explain the internal trauma, and no tracks to suggest an attacker. Decades later, a journalist named Anya became obsessed with uncovering the truth. She retraced the hikers' steps, determined to solve the enigma that had eluded explanation. She carried an old journal belonging to one of the hikers, found at the site but never deciphered. The journal's last entry was chilling. "There is something watching us. It doesn't belong here." Anya camped at the same site on the 60th anniversary of the hikers' disappearance. As night fell, she felt the same oppressive silence the group must have experienced. The wind whispered through the trees like voices, but there was no one else for miles. At midnight, Anya woke to a sound. Footsteps, crunching in the snow, circled her tent. She froze, heart pounding, every nerve screaming at her to flee. Then, a shadow passed across the thin fabric of the tent. It wasn't human. She forced herself to peek outside, holding a flashlight with trembling hands. The beam illuminated nothing but snow and darkness. Yet the footsteps continued, growing louder and more erratic. She ran, abandoning her gear, sprinting blindly into the night, just as the hikers had. She stumbled upon the ravine where some of their bodies were found. Her flashlight flickered, and in that moment she saw them, 9 figures standing in the snow, staring at her. Their eyes glowed, their mouths hung open, but no sound came out. The last thing she remembered was falling, the cold seeping into her bones, and a low, guttural growl that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. Anya was found days later, wandering the forest, incoherent and frostbitten. She never spoke of what happened, but her camera contained a single photo, a blurred figure, impossibly tall, with long limbs and empty eyes, looming in the snow. To this day, she refuses to discuss what she saw, but locals claim they hear screams echoing from Dead Mountain on cold winter nights, a warning to those who dare to disturb what should be left alone.